Hello my friends, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, which is going to be a bronzer video, and I hope this is going to be a little bit of a series for us. Today we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite bronzers ever. Not current beauty favorites, not current bronzer favorites. These are my top 5 ultimate favorite bronzers. So going forward, hopefully I will do one for blush, for eyeshadow palettes, for highlighters. Anyways, let me know in the comments below if you like this video, if you like this idea, if it's going to be helpful and fun for you. But if you're interested in seeing what my top 5 favorite bronzers of life are, then just keep on watching. So my friends, just a gentle reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy my content, if you enjoy this video. It helps me so much, and if you're new, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I would love to see you here again. It just brings me so much joy to see y'all back, to interact with you. It really does. Truly, when I say it brings me joy, it really, really does. So that being said, let's go into this. Now, I'm not going to rank these. These are literally my top 5, and I love them all equally for different reasons. But I do also have an honorable mention. I could not talk about one of them. So let's go ahead and start off with that one. And that is the LYS bronzer. This is in the shade Motivate, which is the light version, and it's called the No Limits Matte Bronzer. I have found that pretty much every product in this line is a total hit for me, a total win. And while there are others that I love just slightly more, this one had to, at least in some way, shape, or form, make the cut. So this bronzer is so pretty. It's neutral. You guys know how I feel about red tone bronzers. They're not really my favorite. And this has not only a beautiful tone, but the consistency is just absolutely lovely. It reminds me of their translucent powder. Lost my train of thought there. It's very lightweight, and to the touch, it's quite soft. I won't say it's like silky soft, but it's quite soft, and you can tell by touching it that it is a very lightweight powder. This goes on the skin so nicely, and for me, one of the things I look for in a bronzer is it patchy? Do I struggle to put it on? Because there's times where you go in with a bronzer and you end up with a darker spot here than over here, and it makes it hard to blend. It adds to the difficulty. It adds time to your application, and I'm not about that. So this particular bronzer just goes on like that. And I think the lightweight aspect of it really plays a part, but look how beautifully neutral that is. Absolutely stunning. And for the price point, I think it's $18. I will link it below as per usual. But this lineup just in general is incredible. I had to talk about that one. So let's move into my actual top 5 favorites. Okay, let's start off with a cream bronzer. So I've got, for reference, 3 powders in here and 2 creams. It was incredibly hard to narrow this down, but ultimately I had to go based off of what I just told you. Ease of application. For most of these, the tone, just how it warms up my skin. For reference, I am a light to light medium neutral tone, and I kind of vary in shades. If you are wondering what shade I am in a certain foundation, just let me know or ask the question in the comments below, and I would definitely let you know what shade I am. But for reference, I am light to light medium neutral. So let's start off with the Huda Beauty Tantour. This was my first ever cream bronzer, and quite frankly, it set the bar so high that it made it hard for other cream bronzers to compete. So this particular one, for reference, is in the shade Fair. These run very, very deep. So it's crazy to me that this would be a fair shade. It looks like it would be more on the light to light medium tone, but there's a couple of things. One is that the cap comes with like this little poofy, almost like a foil type of thing, and I think it's to keep it fresh and creamy. I have had this since it released several years ago, and it's still going strong. So that being said, it also comes with a little cap that you kind of lay in there, and it just helps keep everything, again, fresh and creamy. So I love the packaging on this. The acrylic base is so there's something about it that I just really like. I wouldn't say it's like really pretty or anything. There's just something about it that I enjoy. Now, mine is used and abused, you guys. It's just looking kind of grody at this point, but this is such a creamy cream bronzer. Does that even make sense? It's so soft to the touch. And when you say cream bronzer, sometimes it can be more of like a balmy type of consistency. Sometimes it can be more on the liquidy, but you know, usually they refer to all of those as cream bronzers. Now this legit feels like a cream. It's a little thicker than some of the formulas out there right now, but as you're gonna see in the demo, it goes on so effortlessly. And I think that is another reason why this set the bar so high. As being my first cream bronzer, I was like, this is easy. I've been afraid of cream products all this time, and this is actually really simple. So that being said, the undertone or the tone of it is also very, very lovely. It's more of a neutral tone, and it just pairs so well with my skin. In addition, it just gives me that I just came back from the pool. I've been out on vacation. There's some bronzers that don't do that. They look like you tried. It looks like you added a fake bronze to your face. I mean, that's what bronzer is. But this one just gives my skin like literally, I went out to the pool or I've been at the beach for the weekend, that kind of thing. So again, super effortless, no struggle whatsoever. The tone is incredible. And the glow, or I say the glow, but I mean like the bronzy look to it, absolutely stunning. Definitely one of my top fives. And this is true of also another one in my top five. One of the things I believe that stand the test of time for a favorite, overall favorite from your collection, like not a current favorite, but a favorite from everything, is that it kind of stands the test of time. So for me to be able to say, I have loved this, and this is pretty much my top, or one of my top cream bronzers overall, since I bought it, which was, again, several years ago, that really says a lot. Let's move into the next one. This probably is no surprise to you. The Ilia bronzer. It's called the Nightlight Bronzing Powder. It's in the shade Drawn In. I can't remember who I watched who recommended this or who liked it. Again, a couple of years ago. I think it may have been Stephanie Leda, because she has drawn me into several Ilia products. But this, no, it was Kathleen Lights, and I don't even remember what video it was. It's Kathleen Lights. This was in I think maybe a favorites video, and I thought, that looks really nice. I kind of want to try that. And I know she's a fairer skin tone, so I thought, okay, I think that might work well for me. Little did I know how much I was going to absolutely love this product. So on the same lines of the other one, this is such an effortless powder, and it's kind of like the LYS in that it is incredibly thin feeling. And again, I think that's why it just goes on so nicely on the skin. It's easy to build up. It's easy to blend out. I don't have to put a whole lot of work into it. And you guys, again, the tone is perfection for me. So this is what this one looks like. Now, I do prefer a lighter bronzer. I tend to go for the light versions, and then I will build up as needed, because for me, it's harder to go in with a deeper one and then have to buff it out. And I think that's one reason I thoroughly enjoy the bronzers I'm showing you, is because I'm able to build them up nicely, and they almost give my skin just almost like a caramel type of look to it. So absolutely beautiful. Ilia is such an amazing brand. And again, I don't think I've bought anything that's a true miss for me from the brand. It's one of my preferred bronzers to pull when I'm on the go, when I'm in a hurry. Quite frankly, when I go to Disney World, this is the bronzer I take with me. Again, it's just so effortless, and because of its thinner consistency, it goes on so nicely. So definitely a favorite, a top five, and I see it being so for a very long time. Let's go into another cream bronzer. This will be no surprise to you, and this is the Saie cream bronzer. This is a newer bronzer, but it has already filled the shoes of a top five ultimate favorite bronzer. Now, this one is going to be a caveat to my talking point, I guess, that I love a neutral bronzer, because this one actually has a little bit of a red tone, which I'm not a fan of. However, the healthy look that this gives my skin, I mean, it takes over everything else, and I don't even care what tone it is. It's absolutely beautiful. I also love the packaging. It's, for the price point, it blows my mind. I think this was $28, which is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's affordable because it's not drugstore price, but considering other prices for cream bronzers, this is like I think it's really, I don't know, for the size that you get, I think it's a good deal. Anyways, correct me if I'm wrong, but I love the cap. It's simplistic. Saie is just such a great brand. I, again, pretty much love everything I buy from them. So I'm not going to spend too much time in this one because I did include it in my favorites. I have also done a dedicated video for this bronzer, but I do have mine in the shade Light Bronze. I made the mistake of going medium bronze the first time around. Total mistake because it is way too deep and very, very red toned. So this one tones the red down a little bit and it's the perfect tone for me and I can build it up if I'd like. Now, if you have not watched my videos in which I've included this bronzer, it's really interesting because the formula kind of, when you don't use it, it almost like the top layer hardens up a little bit to where it kind of looks like a clay or something. I don't know how else to describe it to you. Once you dip your brush in, once you like start swirling your finger in there, it just becomes so emollient, like it changes. And then after you close it up and you don't use it, it kind of starts drying up again. Not in a bad way. I think that is what the formula is meant to do. But this bronzer does even more than what the Huda does for me in the sense of giving me a very healthy look. It gives me a dewy look to the skin. So if you are not into dew on your skin, if you're not used to that whole, I wouldn't say glazed donut look because this is not going to give you that, but it just, I don't know, it looks like I've been drinking a lot of water when I really haven't been. So this particular bronzer is just, I mean, it's stellar, quite frankly. Now, I don't have the Chanel Soul Tan de Chanel? Anyways, the Chanel version. I know a lot of people were comparing it and I do not own that one. So if you do and you have this one and you've compared them, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are between the two, especially because of the price difference. But this is such an amazing bronzer and just like the others, it's super effortless. Like you really can't go wrong with this bronzer as far as messing up. It's so easy to correct. It's easy to blend out. It's easy to build up. And quite frankly, the healthy look it gives my skin is just basically what puts it in this category for me. So love this bronzer right here. So last two. This one is a little bit more on the luxury side. These next two are a little bit more on the luxury side, but it's kind of one of those things where you get what you pay for, and with these two, you get what you pay for. So the Gucci bronzer really blew my socks off and has been a favorite since I purchased it. I think I've had it for about a year now. And this is one of those things where before you buy it, you're like, is it like just hyped up for some sort of reason? No, it's hyped up for good reason. First off, the packaging, super luxurious, really beautiful. Mine is in the shade 03, Éclat Soleil. Anyways, I had a few subscribers tell me that 3 is less red tone and more neutral than number 2. I'm so glad I listened because it really is. This is the perfect tone. 3 sounds like it would be deep and it looks a little bit deep. It's really not, and it blends in so nicely. It just smooths over the skin. Now this is a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a heavier powder, but it doesn't have the thin feeling consistency that the others do, the other powders that I've shown you. But for some reason, this just has such a, it goes on beautifully, and I think it's because it's so silky feeling, like it is soft to the touch. And it looks like it might be a little bit deep, but seriously, it just goes on. It also depends on the brush you use, okay? I kind of use like a stippling bronzer brush, but look, that is 03, and it's kind of in line with some of the ones I've already showed you. So beautiful application. So, I don't know, elegant? I don't know. You're probably asking what makes one bronzer more elegant than the other. I don't know. It really is an absolute beautiful bronzer. So smoothing on the skin. I never get patchiness with this. I never have to put in extra work. And I do love this bronzer. I think it's worth the price tag if you can get it during the sale. That's obviously the optimal thing, but this bronzer didn't let me down, and I don't think it'd let you down either. So let's move into the final bronzer in this little bunch, and this is probably the one I've had the longest out of all of them. I have had these bronzers since they've first released, and actually I have both of them. And this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. They released these maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. It has been a while, and these have been my favorite powder bronzer since they released, which again, I take you back to the Huda cream. And this is the other one I was referring to when I say these just kind of stand the test of time, because I have loved them since I bought them and they have not dropped out of my top category, like my top grouping for a bronzer, which says a lot because a lot has hit the market. There's a lot that can kind of replace, you know, favorites at this point. Never. These are just consistently in my favorites. And the reason is because of the luminosity that these provide. Now, a luminous bronzer isn't for everybody. A lot of people prefer a matte bronzer, but I do love a good luminous bronzer because it adds that light, it adds that glow to my skin. Again, making my skin look super healthy, really radiant, just so nice. And then this is one of the ones that also just gives my skin the look of, I just got back from being outside for several days and it's very warm, but not being like red toned, if you know what I mean. Just, it adds a warmth that, I don't know, makes my skin look very healthy, I guess. So I do have both. Luminous Bronze Light and Radiant Bronze Light. I don't know why at the time I felt the need to have both of them, but at this point I would have just bought one. Anyways, so here is the light version, here is the deeper version. I tend to use this one because this one is very light, but I will also tell you this one has more luminosity to it. They're both very, very pretty. So here is the light version. So still very lovely, very buildable. And then let me give you the deep version, which is this one right here. And they can, honestly, they're both quite similar. Again, I did not need to purchase both. I don't even know what I was thinking, but they are your typical Hourglass powder feel. They are very soft to the touch. It's that baked type of formula, and they offer just such a beautiful luminosity in the same way that you're used to the Hourglass powders. So again, if that isn't your vibe, if like a luminous, I don't even know what to tell you because it's not glitter, but they've got those sparkly flecks in there, or whatever baked in there, and that adds some sort of radiance to the skin. So again, not for everybody, but that has always been what has made it my absolute favorite. That and the ease to apply. It's just, and I guess it's the baked formula. It's the Hourglass type of formula. So definitely my favorites have been for years, and I don't think anything's gonna replace these anytime soon. All right, my friends, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it beneficial in some way, shape, or form. I'm curious to know what your top, not 5, but your top favorite bronzers are, because I'm always on the hunt for that next amazing bronzer. And some of the bronzers that I have picked up have been because y'all have recommended them. So please let me know in the comment section below so that I know what to look for next. Before I let you go, I just want to give you a very quick verse of the day to motivate you, encourage you, and to tell you that Jesus loves you. Today's comes from 1 Timothy 2:3-4, and it says, God our Savior wants all men to be saved and come to a knowledge of the truth. So with that being said, I would just like to pose the question to you. If you know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, if you don't, I pray that he makes himself so real to you that you would feel a tug on your heartstrings, that you would feel an overwhelming presence and love and peace that you've not felt before, and that you would know without a doubt that it is him who's calling to you. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for stopping by and spending time with me. I will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.